Hi, I'm Richard Lassiter, CEO and founder of RL Performance. I'm an executive coach and leadership consultant. Before starting my own coaching business, I spent many years managing remote teams based in a variety of different countries and different cultures. I've worked at multinational companies including Sony PlayStation and Telefónica, and I've lived and worked in 4 different countries throughout my career. As a leader of many remote teams, I spent a lot of time thinking about how to provide great leadership and ensure that my team was engaged, motivated, and performing at a high level. I looked in detail at all of the actions I took, and I've broken it down into 3 key areas. Here's my first tip for providing great leadership through remote working: communication. There's no doubt that remote working brings some difficult challenges. The good news, however, is that by showing great leadership and with a bit of ingenuity, the majority of these can be overcome. Firstly, whether remote or face-to-face, the way you communicate with your team is always of the highest importance. The thing with remote working, however, is that it brings any deficiencies in your communication styles into starker focus. Secondly, just because you're not in the same room as your team, don't forget your team needs to hear from you. It's about changing the delivery method, not the quality or the quantity of the communication. Thirdly, of course, I get it. You can't offer to grab a coffee or go for lunch with a member of your team when you're remote working. And sadly, I can't help you solve that one. Instead, what you need to do as a manager is think about how to solve what I call those face-to-face micro moments that you have with a member of your team throughout the day and the week. So here are my tips for strengthening communication through remote working. Hold regular Ask Me Anything sessions and give all of your team or department the opportunity to get any questions they have out in the open. The result of these sessions is like opening a pressure valve at times of uncertainty and allows people to get the things that are bothering them off their chest. Second, take responsibility for the tech setup before each meeting. This might sound a little frivolous in the grand scheme of things, but when you're working remotely, and particularly when you have team members working in different countries, this can be a real issue and can lead to people feeling left out or that you don't care. The key here is to aim for what I call a same for all approach and not a best for some. Personally, my experience with this point is that you should never underestimate it. Thirdly, structure your regular team meetings online as you would offline. Keep things consistent. This will build confidence with your team that despite the uncertainty of working from home for a long period, the key fundamentals of the team they're part of remain the same. So, for example, review the company team OKRs or KPIs, get each person's business area update or however you might normally do it when you're in the same room, tell them about something that you're working on or any pertinent information that's come out from a meeting you've had with your manager. Again, this helps to contribute to the business as usual sense and that work higher up hasn't stopped. However, it's important to note here that if there are really some issues, then do be honest about them. Despite what you might think, the more perceptive of your team will probably have figured them out anyway. Point number 4, and I admit this might sound a little strange, I recommend that you schedule an additional meeting separate to your one-to-one catch-ups, or even at the beginning or end of your catch-ups, where you make time for an informal chat. Obviously, when you're working remotely, it's impossible to have those same interactions you might have during the course of a day in an office, for example, grabbing a coffee or going out for lunch. This situation is about adapting to the circumstances you find yourself in. By specifically calling it out as a meeting not related to their day-to-day work, you're giving them permission to feel a little more relaxed. You can see how they're feeling, and if there are any issues you should be aware of. If it's with someone whom you would normally go for a coffee with in the office, replicate that scenario online. It's not perfect, but your team will genuinely appreciate the efforts you're going to. And finally, encourage those in your team who have direct reports themselves to do the same things with their team so that there's consistency across the department. Thanks a lot for watching. Please check out my other 2 short videos on great leadership through remote working, and if you found this useful, then please share it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.